The Great Barrier Reef is one of Australia's most remarkable natural gifts. According to the National Ocean Service, it is the largest coral reef system in the world, containing an abundance of marine life and comprises over 3,000 individual reef systems, coral cays, and hundreds of tropical islands. "2016 is the year the Great Barrier Reef faced the highest coral bleaching event in history."
So bleaching on the Great Barrier Reef is a relatively new thing. As people assume that it's been going on forever and ever, and that's not true. The first bleaching that they seem to have noticed was in the 1980s, but there have been a series of really quite serious episodes. There was one in 2000, 2001, where we started to think bleaching is going to be serious. There was a fairly large percentage of bleaching. But of course, this year has been incredible. This year has seen the largest bleaching that's ever occurred on the reef. At the moment, the most bleached part of the reef, unusually, is the north, which has traditionally been the most pristine. But for some particular reason, this year, it's hit the north. The waters stayed warmer and longer in the north, when it's usually down at the southern end of the reef that the damage occurs. One of the places that has been hardest hit is Lizard Island, which is had very beautiful reefs and has a famous resort. We estimate that more than 20% of the corals have actually died from bleaching in the north this year.
Coral bleaching has hit the northern part of the Great Barrier Reef. But how does this bleaching occur? What exactly causes ocean acidification?
Okay, so coral bleaching is the problem that most people have heard the most about. So corals live in a partnership with a single-celled algae. Now these live inside the cells of the corals at very high density, so about 1 to 2 million per square centimetre of coral tissue. Now, when the temperature increases too much, the partnership is interrupted so that a large percentage of these little algae leave the corals. Now, this is a real problem for the corals in that the corals rely on these algae, sometimes up to 100% of their energy needs. So when they leave in large quantities, the tissue pales, hence the term bleaching. So the corals become white looking, sometimes fluorescent colours, and they're without their main source of their energy for this period. So corals can recover from this, but if whatever is stressing them, in this case the high temperature, lasts for too long, the corals can die.
The loss of coral reefs affect many organisms and species, including humans, that rely on the Great Barrier Reef. If we lose this reef system, many will suffer from lack of resources to loss of economy and more.
The loss of reefs, if we were ever to let that happen, will cause some incredibly serious problems for our global population. For Australia, of course, we consider things like the vast amounts of money contributed to our economy by the Great Barrier Reef, somewhere around $6 billion a year, our fantastic tourism industry, our fisheries, all of those sorts of things receive their protein from reefs. So we are going to have to find another source of protein for those people. And then, of course, there are things like the loss of biodiversity. It's very difficult to put a value on that sort of loss. Similarly, millions of people find their livelihoods from reefs.
The interaction that you have with the reef, especially as a scuba diver, is so unique. I think we should take care of the reef, especially because we take so much from the earth, and then we have to care for it in return. And if you look at the past and how we've been affecting the planet and all of the statistics, it shows that climate change is real. It's happening right now. We can see it before our eyes. So I think that's why it's important that you have to be aware of it. You have to be aware of it in order to be able to act.
According to Dr. Ana Villaconsejo and Dr. Selena Ward, there are ways human beings can help coral bleaching and the larger issue of climate change.
We know what we need to do. We need to modify our behavior. We need to stay away from fossil fuels. We need to stop climate change. We're not going to stop it completely because there is a momentum, and so, but we can slow it down.
In your daily life, you need to start thinking about what you're actually doing. Think about every single-use piece of plastic that you use and think about whether you really need to use it. Stop using plastic bags. Use reusable bags instead. Think about how you're getting yourself around. Do you really need to drive? Can you ride a bike? Can you walk? Can you take the bus? Think of everything that you do in your life. Factor climate change into it. And if we all do that, we can reduce the emissions around us, irrespective of what our governments are doing. But primarily we have to work with them as well.
I think we can all modify our behavior, even if it is a little bit, it will help in the overall carbon emissions. So I think education is the most important thing. So we need to help the future generations to be gentler. So I see a future where we have cleaned our act, where we have sorted out our priorities, and I simply refuse to accept that my children or my children's children will not see the Great Barrier Reef.
Looking at the Australian government, they have taken action to help care for the Great Barrier Reef. According to their website, both the Australian and Queensland governments are investing approximately $200 million annually in the reef's help. They have also put together a 2050 long-term sustainability plan. This plan includes improving water quality, maintaining biodiversity, as well as ensuring port development and shipping have minimal impact on the reef. Dr. Ana Villaconsejo, Professor Ian McCalman, and Dr. Selena Ward all agree that the Australian government has taken action but is not doing nearly as much as they could to help protect the Great Barrier Reef.
I do not feel that the Australian government is doing a great job. I think that it is absolute scandal. But what they're trying to do is to keep quiet on the major issue, well, the major two issues, which is bleaching and acidification is caused by CO2, greenhouse gas, in the atmosphere. And because they are selling coal, and they still want to sell coal, they do not want to face the real issue. They're going straight to the periphery of the matter instead of to the centre and key issue. The best thing that the government can do, one urgent thing, is to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and to put all your weight behind doing that and all your weight behind persuading other countries to do that.
The Australian government is supporting fossil fuels, is planning to open more mines, it's currently pushing towards a big project, the Adani project in the northern Queensland, and they are helping that project financially and administratively. So I don't think they are doing enough. We have the technology. We currently have the technology to move to renewables. We could use solar, we could use aeolian energy, and we could do it quite cheaply. The technology is there, but there is a clear resistance to it, which is based on, I don't know, nonsense.
All of us need your help. We need you to get behind the campaigns, to get behind the scientists, to spread the word. The least you can do is talk to your families, your friends, your work colleagues about the plight of reefs. Get people involved. If enough people really get behind these problems, then hopefully we can find solutions to them. We could get governments to speak on our behalf to reduce the effects of climate change, to reduce emissions dramatically.